Here.
What are we going to do on the test?
Well,
I am adamant about the notes when I'm doing something like this. I don't know, it.
Start the notes.
I mean, I've got several other classes just in this one.
Yeah, feel free to take notes. I think that's a good idea because we're going to be writing down
Yeah, we got to be.
a lot
you
of
can reference back on YouTube or streaming.
Exactly.
a lot of brain structures today. Well, good evening, and let me welcome our online audience. I'm Vincent Adams, and I'm co-founder along with my lovely wife of Ed's High-M, and we're the sponsors of this new meetup group. This is our inaugural meeting, of the Brainiacs, or the Neuroplastic Kabbalah meetup group. Okay? We don't need name tags. I know everybody's name. Okay. To start off with, we're going to start off by talking about neuroplasticity first, and then we'll end the evening talking about Kabbalah. And I think it'll become apparent why I'm doing that as we move through the material. First of all, let me say that the brain, as Dr. Amen said, is the hardware of the spirit. The brain is the hardware of the spirit. All of us have bought a computer and, or gone to get some software for the computer, and right there on the software package it says, hey, do you have this much mega RAM? Do you have this much hard drive space? Do you have this? Is your screen, will the screen give you this type of resolution for our images? The programs that we buy ask these questions to make sure that the program will run efficiently and effectively, or run it all on whatever type of computer or machine we're trying to load it onto. And what I found out is that, we're really the same way. Some of you are in the law of attraction. Some of you may just call it faith. In Kabbalah, they call it certainty. Whatever program, law of attraction, Christianity, Islam, Buddhist, whatever program you're trying to run on yourself, do you have the hardware to do it? Is the question. And many of us have, we've neglected that for such a long time. Do you have the hardware for law of attraction? Do you have the hardware
I think we do.
for Christianity? You think you do?
Yeah, I think we do.
I'm going to get you to change your mind.
I know we do.
Okay.
We do. I think.
But has it been upgraded? You got enough RAM? You sure?
I know.
Yes.
You sure you got enough RAM? You got enough?
I can use extra storage.
Yeah.
Extra stuff.
Okay. You don't need a plug-in device. You sure?
Yes.
I think
Okay, well-
what we do, we clobber too much in there.
No, it's not so much. It's not so much clobbering too much. Well, I'll show you. We'll get there.
Okay.
But the main thing is, what are we? What software are we running? And more than that, do we have the capacity to really run that software that we're talking about, whether it's law of attraction or whatever, effectively? And even if we do, we can enhance it. We can give it, some high octane. But we need to figure out, what's going on. Do we really know how to use the machine that we have? Do we know how to use it? Do we know how to optimize it? Do we know what's going on? Do we know how to get it to boot up and run faster? Or do we just put up with the slowdown? Like on our computer, sometimes they're running slow. You got to defrag, or get rid of some viruses and things like that. Only in our case, the viruses are probably just our way of thinking about things in many cases. But I'm going to read something to you, do a little reading. It may be a little bland this time, but anytime you're just doing pure anatomy and that sort of thing, it gets to, it's not not too many ways I can make it exciting. Okay, I think I'll start. When information enters our mind through our senses, it first enters a part of our brain called the thalamus, which is a primary area of perception. The thalamus elevates incoming information for relational cues and then quickly relays 5% of the message to the amygdala. Now you're going to hear me talk about the amygdala from now on. It's kind of my little favorite part of the brain. Then it sends 5% of that to the amygdala. 95% of the information then goes forward to the prefrontal cortex. The amygdala reacts quickly and hijacks the rest of the brain with fear. We have 0.25 seconds to overcome the fear and access our prefrontal cortex. That's interesting. Okay? A matter of function. Each section of the brain has been created for a specific function. Prefrontal cortex to keep us relational. Amygdala to warn us of danger. When I took my first psych course in college, the professor gave us like a little test in class. He held up the playing cards. And he said, okay, what card am I holding up? And he let everybody see it, it's a black card. And just about everybody in the classroom said, okay, yeah, that's the ace of spades. Then he held up another one and, looked at that one, and people said, oh, that's the ace of hearts, And he said, okay, now, what you thought was the ace of spades was really the ace of hearts, but it was black and not red. And then, the other switch, was vice versa. What we thought was the ace of spades was actually the ace of hearts.
The other way around.
Yeah.
I did it the other.
Yeah, which they thought was the ace of hearts was actually the ace of spades.
Okay. What we thought was the ace of spades was the ace of hearts. Didn't I say that?
You said that on the right.
Okay. And then he showed us the other one, which was red, and it was really, we thought it was the ace of hearts, but it was the ace of spades. I get it right that time? Okay. And so everybody in the whole class missed it. Everybody in the whole lecture hall missed it. And he said, what you have just experienced is he called it some sort of programming that's, that we have, that's innate in us to help us survive. When something looks like something that we think it is, we react to it. And that's a survival trait. Because at one point in time when, your ancestors were in the jungle and they saw something, yellow and green move, out the corner of their eye, they immediately ran away from it. And that was a survival because they knew that the poisonous snake is yellow and green. It doesn't matter that particular time it was just a yellow and green leaf falling. We don't wait around to find out. As a survival tactic, we just take off because yellow and green moving means that, that yellow and green venomous snake. And so that's what the amygdala is for. The amygdala, is going to get just a little bit of information, and it's going to right away make you do something. I'm going to show you something where I think the guy was saying the amygdala has 3 functions. It's either good, bad, or it's scary. And then once the amygdala kicks in, once the amygdala says it's scary, then the hypothalamus is going to get the message, hey, tell the adrenal glands they better get their behind in gear, okay? Tell the pineal, tell all these guys to give me the juice because we got to move. We've got to get going. Something is coming after us and we don't have time to wait around for the prefrontal cortex and their slow-moving molasses behind to let us know what it is, okay? And so, wham, we're off. The amygdala has hijacked, the amygdala is only about as big as our thumb. And I think the name in Greek means almond shape because it's like a little almond right in here. But it can hijack the whole brain in an instant. And while, we're running full speed, until we, out of breath or think it's safe to turn around, we look at, it was just some leaves. The prefrontal cortex goes, it was just some leaves, dummy. You punk. Go back. Good thing the girls aren't here or something. My goodness, how are we going to get a girlfriend with, you acting this way or something, So the amygdala can hijack everything in our thoughts and in our thinking. And it's the seat of our emotions. But more importantly than that, maybe not so more, I shouldn't say more importantly, but in addition to being the seat of our emotions, it also controls and regulates the body's hormonal system through its connection with the hypothalamus. So if you've got an amygdala that is always firing, that is always, on alert, that means you're always producing those alert chemicals. Cortisone, the adrenals are kicking out, adrenaline and all this other stuff. The only thing about cortisone and all these other hormones and things that, help you, lift a lot of weight or, get ready for some real action is poisonous to the body in long dosage. It's only meant to be used in emergency. You don't want this system kicking in 24/7. And unfortunately, in most people live their life in the flight or fight. They're always there because they have the wrong thoughts entering into the amygdala. And, it may not, right now, some people, people that are fearful of crowds or certain situations or being in social situations, the amygdala has them actually in fight or flight, and they don't even know it. It's the same thing as you turn on your car. The engine is idling, getting warmed up. You're getting ready to put it into drive or reverse. But instead of putting it in drive or reverse and going on your way, you start to rev the engine. You can rev it a little, or you can really rev it a lot. When you're in fight or flight, that's what you're doing. You're not going anywhere, but you're still revving the engine. And everybody knows you should only let your car even idle without revving maybe 15 minutes in the winter to let it warm up. Imagine if 24 hours a day you're revving your engine. You're going to burn something out. Something is going to pay the price of that revving that engine. And that's exactly where most people are, where a lot of people are in their brain. So when you're doing that, it's difficult to put that program in there from law of attraction. Because that revving is, I don't care what, you tell yourself. The thalamus is going to hear, when you, say the lecture on law of attraction, do this, say this positive thing, say that positive thing. Then all of that is nice, but the amygdala is in, flight or fight and is revving the engine. It's negating everything that law of attraction or Christianity or faith or Buddhism or anything else is telling you. It's negating it. And the problem is, in a lot of cases, the reason why you're in flight or fight can go all the way back to the womb, from the time that you were conceived. It can go back that far, or some other trauma that happened. And until you deal with that trauma in some way, until you're able to tell the amygdala, you know, to get control back from the amygdala, get it out of, you know, the hypothalamus, get it back into the prefrontal cortex, okay, where you can say, no, that was just a green and yellow leaf. Everything is fine. There is no danger. I can carry on with what I was doing. I can go ahead with my daily activities. I can study this new material to help me get a promotion, to help me get a new job, or to help me in my relationship, to help me be more relational with people and not reactive. Anybody know anybody that you got to watch everything you say to them? You know, because they take everything the wrong way, and you know they're quick to go off on you or get upset. They're in fight or flight. They're just waiting for something to happen, for someone to come along and say hi. You know, what do you mean hi? Are you playing with me or something? You know, I mean, that's not even an exaggeration. Some people, you know,
Very, very touching.
just like that. You can't even, you know, say hello. You know, I don't. In my profession, I have to go down to City Hall a lot and deal with, you know, government employees. And I can go up to them sometimes. Can you pull up a file such and such and such and such? And I can get my head torn off sometimes. I've had it happen, you know. I'm like, what in the world did I just say? You know, I just asked for a file. And the person is just all over me, you know. They're in fight or flight. They're waiting. I mean, they're just, you know, waiting to take off. Let me read a little bit more. Like I said, I'm really a fan of the amygdala, but let me read a little bit more. Okay, the thalamus to create attachment. I already said the amygdala warns us of danger. The cingulate is another area in the brain to synchronize with the external world. Since the fall, with the subsequent breakdown of relationships, okay, I'll skip that part. Okay, well, I'll go ahead. Since the fall, they're talking about the fall of Adam and Eve, with the subsequent breakdown of relationships, many of us have difficulty living from the prefrontal cortex. Because, you know, that was the beginning of the breakdown of relationships between people. Because what did Adam say was Eve's fault? You know, what did Eve say? Hey, it was the snake's fault. Now, okay, everybody is, you know, pointing the finger, you know, so we don't have the proper relationship to one another anymore ever since the fall. Okay? We rely on the amygdala to lead our actions. Ever since the fall, we've gotten out of the prefrontal cortex, and people are living from the amygdala instead of the prefrontal cortex. You know, and that's just a state of fear. You know, we just go from one level of fear to the next. Okay. Man's defense, the amygdala, functions as a guard shack, for it stores emotional perceptions that occur each time a memory is built. Now, here's where we talk about the subconscious. When we get a memory that becomes subconscious, and we can no longer access this memory through the conscious mind, that memory becomes extremely dangerous to us. Because if it's a bad memory, if it contains trauma of any kind, it is working behind the scenes in the subconscious. The amygdala is still working on the amygdala, and it's keeping you or that person in fight or flight, and they don't even know it. You know, that's why psychiatrists and psychologists and life coaches can make a little money these days, because people don't even know what program is playing. See, when we talk about this hardware system, that's really a good analogy. What program is running on your computer? A lot of us don't even know what program is really running. We think we're running law of attraction. Maybe we're even, standing in the mirror every morning. I am confident. I am secure. Whatever, life-changing program you're trying to, do to become, better at life and that sort of thing. And say those positive confessions we say in Christianity, the positive confessions. Recite these scriptures, okay? Make these positive confessions, these positive affirmations, okay? We're saying that, but 24/7, the amygdala is receiving another message from the subconscious, from memories that have been pushed down into the subconscious, suppressed. Okay? What happened when we were conceived? What happened when we were in the womb? Was that a good time for mommy? Was mommy an unwed mother? Was mommy worried about, the social concepts, and constructs of her time? Was there any fear in mommy at conception or during the pregnancy? Did mommy go through any trauma? Did mommy worry whether or not she could take care of you? Would there be enough food on the table? Would there be a roof on your head, over her head? What fears or worries did she have during those at conception? Now you may say the brain is not formed at conception, but your spirit is formed immediately at conception. And the spirit will remember everything, and when your brain does get formed, then it will inform the brain and the amygdala of the trauma that mommy is going through, of what mommy has experienced. Or even after you're born, what is going on in mommy's life. Did you come into a loving home? Did mommy want you? Did mommy think about abortion? Okay, or not having you? Or did she just simply wish for a while that she wasn't pregnant? Was it the right time in mommy's career? Even if she was married, did mommy go, oh, shucks, I wanted to, go up the corporate